So why don't I call our meeting to order? Let me start by saying that pursuant to the requirements of the Sunshine Act, the holding of an executive session must be announced at the public meeting immediately prior to said executive session or at the next meeting thereafter. An executive teleconference meeting was held on October 10th, 2025, to review matters that are by statute confidential, including a confidential opinion request and the review of a completed investigation for the purpose of issuing a final adjudication. With that, let me just call the roll. Commissioner McKee Vassallo.
Present.
Commissioner Caruso.
Present.
Commissioner Parcells.
Present.
And Commissioner Reddycliffe.
Here.
So we are, the 5 sitting commissioners are all here. The purpose of this public teleconference meeting is now that the state budget has passed. Ordinarily, we would have considered a bit earlier in the year whether or not to increase the staff's salaries consistent with the administration. And why don't I turn it over to Mary to discuss historically what we've been doing and what your recommendation is for the staff other than you and Bridget.
Thank you. Yes. So this is the only item on the agenda for today, but it is a request for your consideration for a 2.25% general pay increase, which I'm requesting be retroactive to July 1st, 2025 for our staff. In addition, I'm asking for your approval of a one-step service increment representing a 2.25% pay increase to be effective in the first full pay period of January 2026 for commission staff. So when we originally formulated the commission's budget for personnel for the 2025-2026 fiscal year, we included these planned increases into our budgeted and requested amount. We included these because the AFSCME agreement that covers many executive branch employees incorporated these same increases for staff. And historically, my understanding is we have tried to follow that in terms of pay increases for our staff. The budget number that was appropriated to the commission was $3.776 million, and that is sufficient in order to cover these planned increases or these 2 increases that I'm requesting. The total salary and benefits costs for the increases for all staff would be $63,368 for the retroactive 2.25% general pay increase and $27,557 for the January one-step service increment. These 2 pay bumps would be consistent with what most employees within the executive branch have received in July 2025 and will receive in January 2026. Although we are not bound by the terms of the AFSCME agreement because none of our employees are union, this is just something that we have historically done and I would like to do again for staff. The master agreement, the AFSCME agreement, contains additional increases for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. We've planned those as well, but I will revisit those with the commission once we know what our budget will be for that fiscal year. I want to note that the executive director and chief counsel, we are not covered within the Commonwealth Standard Pay Scale, and we would not therefore be included in these bumps unless the commission affirmatively approves them. I've included with these meeting materials a list of our employees, their current salary, their position, and the date of hire. I've also included the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's standard pay scale for 37.5 hours. This is the pay scale that our employees are listed on. You'll note there's one that's effective July 1st, 2024. That's where all staff, with the exception of Bridget and I, are currently. And this bump would push them to the July 1st, 2025 scale. And then the January increase would move everyone one step to the right. If someone's already at the top of that pay scale, they would get a cash payment representing that pay increase. And then at the request of Chair Swartz, we have also included a chart listing the salaries for both Bridget and I and all of the increases that we have received since beginning at the commission. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
So why don't we have questions and then we can decide how to formulate a motion first. But are there general questions about the request or information that was provided about Bridget and Mary?
No.
My one question, Mary, and this relates to our separate consideration of whether or not to include you and Bridget and how to do it. If I'm reading right, we authorized you and Bridget similar step and merit increases in 22, 23, 24, and January of 25. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, when I look at the numbers where you and Bridget are, and I look at the chart you gave me, the top of the chart, if you look on the bottom kind of right-hand corners, it looks like it caps out at 182,651. Are there people who get paid higher than that?
Within our agency?
No,
Or-
around
Oh.
state government.
Yeah, there are. Yes, there are. And so people who are getting paid higher than that are not on this scale. Likewise, Bridget and I are not on this scale. So if you take a look at the attachment that says personnel salaries at the top.
Yep.
So you'll note that under the column current pay scale / group, Bridget and I are listed as XH pay scale.
Yep.
So we are not on the ST, which is the standard pay scale. You'll note that all the other employees are ST. And so, for example, just taking Brittany Beam, who's the second on the list,
Yep.
she's currently ST 0505. If you
Yep.
look at the corresponding pay scale, you'll see where she is on it. But Bridget and I are not on this pay scale at all. There's no scale for us. It's where we are from a salary perspective.
Understand. And then
Uh,
what? Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
Go
I was
ahead,
just
Rob.
going to add something, Mike, that in the Commonwealth executive pay scales, the executive branch pay scales, agency heads and chief counsels are generally not on that standard pay scale. They're whatever the board that governs that agency would set for the management.
Understand. And if we were to do a similar increase, Mary and Bridget, have you calculated what additional cost that would be and how that fits in our budget?
Yes, we have calculated those. We've included those in the numbers that I provided in the memo. So for example, the 63,368 that I referenced as the cost for the retroactive 2.25 general pay increase includes numbers for increases of 2.25% for Bridget and I as well.
Got you. So how would we, if we wanted to offer a similar increase, given that you're not on this pay scale, how would there be, we would have a 2.25 general pay increase. How would we account for the second piece of this, the merit, the one-step service increase?
So what we could do it any way we'd like. You can do it any way you'd like. What we would do and what we've historically done is when these have been approved for Bridget and I, we've notified Office of Administration and they've done the calculation for us from a salary perspective. So we would tell them, for example, the commission has approved this general pay increase for all staff, including me and Bridget, and then they would calculate that amount that would represent the retroactive amount and the new salary and then the increase in January.
Understand. So we don't have to figure out the numbers,
Correct.
if we're suggesting a similar, percentage that will just be handled.
Correct.
Okay.
We would tell them the percentage amount and they would calculate that for us.
Got it. Okay. Any other questions?
Nope.
Does someone want to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Go ahead, Rob.
I would make a motion that the commission adopt the retroactively general pay increase for the staff of 2.25% and the additional step raise of 2.25%, and that we include the include 4.5% increases for the executive director and chief counsel, with 2.25% of that being effective July 1 of 2025 and the remainder in January 1 of 2026.
Do I have a second for that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any discussion on that motion?
Yes,
Do
just
we
to,
need
Let me-
just
Go
a
ahead,
point
Mary.
of clarity. Oh,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Commissioner McKeever-Sala, go ahead.
I was just going to say, do we need to direct OAM to actually do the calculation? I think that I like that protective language to ensure that we're not doing it on our own.
So that's a friendly modification with the calculation for the executive director and the chief counsel to be calculated by the Office of Administration. Do we have let's take a vote on agreeing to the friendly amendment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And
Sorry,
then-
Mary, though I cut you off.
Mary, was there another clarification, or did what Commissioner McKeever-Sala clarify that for you?
No, one additional clarification. The January increase, I would request that go into effect the first full pay period in January of 2026, just so we don't have any half pay periods with an increase. I'm not exactly sure when that pay period begins, but that would be consistent with the terms of the AFSCME agreement as well.
So sounds like a clarification. I think our proposal was that the 2.25 step increase start effective January 1, 2026. Is that right? And
Yes.
go into effect with that first pay period.
Yes, first pay period.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. I know we're in a public meeting. Is there any public comment or other comment that should be made in a public meeting?
I would just say that I know that staff will be very thankful for this increase, especially with increased costs and inflation. It's going to mean a lot to them, not only to know that they're getting this increase, but to know that you went out of your way in order to schedule this public meeting to make it happen for them without waiting until January. So thank you so much on behalf of the staff.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I also think if we can send a message back to the staff, ordinarily, we would have considered this earlier in the year. We didn't think it was prudent or appropriate to do so without a state budget in place. So we'll want to thank the staff for the uncertainty and the economic kind of impact that this has had of not having it with the ordinary time because of the budget impact. I know we're curing that somewhat retroactively, but at the same time, people may have expected, thought, anticipated that salaries would have been increased earlier, and we appreciate everybody understanding that, that would not be appropriate for us to do without a budget in place.
Pass that information on to staff.
Wonderful.
One question I have, Mary, when will staff see this? Will it be next pay? Would it be a lump sum?
I'm not sure how that's going to happen. As soon as this meeting's over, I'm going to reach out to Office of Administration to have this be implemented as quickly as possible. I would love to see it happen prior to the holidays, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure that's going to happen because the pay cycle is 2 weeks after working. So I don't know that that they're actually going to see this higher pay with the lump sum until sometime in January. We'll move it as quickly as possible.
Any other business for today's public meeting? No? With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye.